We are the Morning Hustle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Morning Hustle. Is our second guest of 2020.
Yeah.
We have a weird light skin pattern going on, but we'll accept it. For the brand new movie Like a Boss, make some noise one time for Jacob Latimore.
My dog. That's my dog.
What's happening?
Word, so, we're on in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
A lot of people assume that you live in Atlanta. You are from the Midwest. Where about?
I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 414. You know what I mean? But I moved here at a young age to really start my career. I got started early, you know what I mean? And booked my first films and put out a lot of music. And 23 now, so still rocking.
Yeah,
now.
It's like seems like every time you go home, they put you on the news. It's like the hometown hero is back.
That's funny.
I saw
That's actually true.
You gotta feel good.
Is it safe to say you're the most famous person in Milwaukee?
I wouldn't even say that. To be honest. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I really never really considered myself that way. I just go back home, see family. I really, I try not to go out too much, to be honest. I try to just stay low key.
Yeah, him and Giannis.
Stay low key.
I know the first time I met you was in D.C. It was like you were probably about 12 or 13. It was with Mindless Behavior era.
Yeah.
And that's when, it was like you had these tours going on and just to see you perform solo and the way you could command the crowd and the young ladies were going crazy.
I appreciate that.
Speak a little bit on your growth. Like, how has that process been going from, just being a solo artist, performing, singing, you're still singing and whatnot, you're still dropping projects, but then moving into acting and
it's just a different way to express myself. I think acting was like a hidden talent I didn't really know I had. It's just kind of me moving to Atlanta really just sort of opened my eyes to different things, and I met an agent and I went to some acting classes and just got situated with some auditions. I think my first booking was like a little cable commercial, you know what I mean? Where I'm just smiling and mom's like that, and I'm just like, all right. And then it was that first film, my very first film called Vanishing on 7th Street. It was like a big crying scene in the audition, and I needed my mom in the audition because I was like in the scene, I'm like looking for my mom. So and the tears started falling. I'm not sure where the emotion came from, and then they were like, yo, you're amazing. You dope. And I was like, all right. And then, and then that led to Black Nativity with Forrest Whitaker.
Dope
and
movie.
I'm like, this is my second movie. I'm like,
Forrest
all
Whitaker.
right, Forrest Whitaker. I should keep doing it, And then it led to Collateral Beauty with Will Smith. And then it was just like, all right. And then Out of Shy and so I'm on a series now. It's dope. You know what I mean?
So how do you find time for yourself? Because I was watching an interview. I know you said you do 4 months for The Shy.
Yeah, throughout the year, yep.
Then you also have movies that you're working on.
Yeah.
And then you have a relationship as well with
fresh.
Serayah. Right?
Real fresh. Well, we over a year now, actually.
And she's busy as well.
That is fresh.
Yeah.
Don't
That's
do
pretty
that.
fresh.
That's fresh. Don't
Over
let
a
them do
year?
that. That's
Over a
fresh,
year, that's
man.
fresh.
Come on, this is
It
a
still
long life.
feels fresh. It feels good. Yeah.
So how do you find time to even have that relationship? Because both of y'all are doing quite a lot nowadays.
Well, the thing about The Shy, Empire Films in Chicago as well. So we film in the same studio. So this is her last season of Empire, so I won't see her this time. But I mean, we just travel. We just see each other. She spent Thanksgiving, Christmas with me.
New Year's.
Yeah, New Year's, all that with me. So it's like, it was cool. We find our time to all right, we just all right, it's been a long time. I'm gonna fly there, you gonna fly here or something.
Yeah, and that make it sweeter, man, because y'all
Yeah,
both
yeah.
on y'all hustles, y'all doing it.
It allows us to focus on our work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we away, we just work, and then we see each other, we make that time.
So how does she feel with you being the love interest to Tiffany Haddish?
She gangster. She like, it's just work.
Aw.
I know what it really is. Yeah. I mean, I think we were just talking about this, us having to do, scenes with other, actors and, love interests or whatever, and with The Shy, I've done some scenes I would never want her to.
You was getting it in.
Yeah, I would be
and
like,
it's
if I see her
wild.
doing some scenes like that, I'd be like, oh my God, oh God, no. You know what I mean? So, it's tough. It's tough. This is my first time really dating in the industry. I ain't never dated in my field. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have to move a certain way because y'all both people in the public eye?
I guess. In a sense, I mean, we're not super social media driven. We really started getting into social media a little later in our relationship, so it was new to people. But it was we were already 6 months in.
I be seeing you in them comments. You be checking them comments, don't you?
Yeah, I be like, well, who in there? who is this? Who is that?
You gotta check up on it.
But you all have been friends.
Don't be liking
you know?
that. Don't be liking that.
Now, for those who just joining us, Jacob Latimore is in the building. The movie Like a Boss is about to hit the theaters, and I definitely want y'all to go see it.
Yeah,
You
man.
mentioned Shy. Yo, it's another hood classic.
Hey,
The dynamic between you and Jason Mitchell's characters is some
man.
of the coolest things that we've seen on TV in a
man,
long time.
yeah.
It broke our heart when we found out dude wasn't
me
coming
too,
back.
Me too, man.
How has it been feeling?
Me too.
Filming this new season without him around.
Honestly, it was scary. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, it was like the band had broke up. You know what I mean? Like the original band, and it was like, how we gonna make this work? You know, and then the writers were so confident, which made me feel more confident. So I think after we filmed the first episode, and we actually got to screen episode 8 of this up and coming season, like while we were filming, we usually don't get to do that. And I was like, oh, they think we over. You know what I mean? Because we really got so many dope actors. You know what I mean? Like from the kids to me to you know, a lot of the new people we got on as well. It's like I think people, you know, just need to give us a chance with this one. You know what I mean? We lost one, but you know we're a solid group. You know what I mean? With a lot of range. Yeah.
There's multiple storylines going on.
Absolutely. So it's like, and then like when you think about The Wire wasn't consistent with one character. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think, but what's dope about the first 2 seasons, they will continue to live, and people will be able to go back and watch those, and like, you know, for the people who aren't really familiar with the show, they'll be like, all right, let me catch up. You know what I mean? So it'll be dope.
Let me ask, what advice would you give as Jacob Latimore? What advice would you give to Emmett? Because
he's
Emmett,
a mess,
we
child.
really want Emmett. I'm rooting for Emmett. I want him to get it together.
I like Emmett though. I be like,
I
let's go,
like
Emmett.
so many
You like
hustles.
Emmett?
Yeah, I think Emmett get a bad rep, honestly. But it's like
Emmett.
Maybe
Come
it's
on,
all
Emmett,
the
we gotta
women,
take some
Emmett.
responsibility
Sometimes
now.
everything with the wrong head. You know what I'm saying?
Emmett
But
needs to
that's
take
cool.
personal
Sometimes.
responsibility.
Yeah, I think he's young, and I don't know. I really don't know what I think. I think he's constantly growing, making mistakes, but I think at the root of it, I see his heart. You know, I think I really don't think he's like the worst kid in the world. You know what I mean? He definitely has a lot of babies, and he needs to wear a condom.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the
kid,
time.
bro.
But I think if you compare it to like, you know, the kids who are caught up in the streets, or you know, like you could tell Emmett's not trying to. He's trying to do the legal way. Like, he's trying to do it the positive way. You know, he tried to dive into the streets, but it's not really his swag. It's not that's not his move. So.
And he's growing. You can see like him growing through the
Yeah.
seasons. All right, please don't break my heart, because you're cooking in Like a Boss. You cooking in The Shy. Please tell me you know how to cook.
I mean,
So you Emmett for real.
So
'cause
with
he
no
was burning the chicken.
Starve the children.
I think, you know, what's so dope about Chicago is like it forces me. I'm really like by myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm in that apartment, and I'll figure it out. You know, if I'm hungry, I'll figure it out.
So what's
You
your
know what I
go-to
mean?
meal?
Go-to meal.
If you had to
honestly,
make something yourself.
That's good.
Probably breakfast, like some eggs.
There we go.
Bacon.
Yeah, scramble some
you
eggs,
know, pancakes.
toast,
Oatmeal.
pancakes.
You know, oatmeal. I do love oatmeal, actually.
And sometimes you do
Because-
breakfast for dinner.
Yeah, and I do a lot of, you know, working out. So I do a lot of meal prep. So oatmeal is like the first thing I'll have in the morning or something like that, with some egg whites or something, you know, a little omelet or something.
So
like
what
that.
is- so what is-
avocado toast?
What's y'all dynamic? Because of course, you know, we see the scene where you cooking for Tiffany, and so what's the dynamic? Is that like you her little young thing?
Yeah,
and
That's
we
it.
getting
That's her
down.
boo.
Okay.
We having fun.
Okay.
You know, I'm smacking on the butt with the spatula.
Yeah.
It's lit. And then I flip the pancakes. Nasty.
How did
Yeah.
Common feel about that when y'all were filming?
Really?
You said comment.
They say they together now.
Oh, well, hey, we actually, you know what, she was talking about comment. I mean, I don't
Oh,
know.
was she
I
now?
don't know.
Come on now, when you the young guy, you like, all right, you can still have him too. Right?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, you gotta do your thing,
Do
baby.
your thing.
Was he
Yeah,
on the
thing.
set watching this? Go
No,
on,
no,
man.
I didn't see him. Maybe he was, but I didn't
So
see him.
prior to your relationship, is that something that you know, do you like him with a little seasoning on him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my boy right there, man.
Let's talk about your music a little more. You have a record that's out right now with Mulatto.
Yeah, Don't Want to Leave. I'm actually about to drop a new one called Details featuring Cowboy next week. I'm really excited about that one. This year, I just want to keep consistent with my visuals and really showing people who I am as an entertainer. You know, I think I want to put that back in people's face on the music level. So acting is put me in a space where I can introduce myself to a whole new audience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, he's just an actor, the actor. And I'm like, and it's weird to see comments like, bro, I didn't even know you sing. I'm like, wow, that's
because you've been doing
it's
that
crazy
long.
because like it's like an overlap generation or whatever. It's weird. So
People
it's
like to put you in one box and like only know you for one
Absolutely.
thing. But
Right.
I've seen you kill it musically.
Yeah.
And like, yo, you have
Dancing,
skipped the
everything.
line on a lot of actors because there's people who have loved to
Yeah.
be in the stuff that you've been in.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Salma Hayek, Tiffany Haddish,
Right.
Rose Byrne.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's crazy.
these
man.
are heavy hitters.
Yeah, it's awesome, and to walk the carpet and they acknowledge me as an actor and like somebody they respect, and I'm just like, whoa, I don't really feel like I've even done as the amount of work they put in already. It's a lot more work to do. It's really levels to it, but I'm in it. I'm working.
So do you ever feel like music has to take a back seat because acting is very strenuous?
Yeah. Sometimes when you're on a TV show, it's priority. They don't care what you're doing. When that 4 months come up, they're like, hey, 4 months. Season 4, whatever season we doing.
Right.
And I'll make that time to record in between and put out music. I mean, that's the dope thing about social media. I can always throw some music
Yeah,
out.
throw some
You know what I
stuff
mean?
out,
It's really just about time management. And I think when you do what you love, you make time for it.
Now, the movie's
Yeah.
called Like a Boss.
Yeah.
Salma Hayek, even though she's beautiful, appears to be a tyrant in this film. Thinking back in your life, who was the worst boss you ever had?
Worst boss I ever had. Honestly, I haven't ran into that, thank God, to be honest. I've always been able to be in a space and really recognize the vultures in the room, but I always stay on that good side. So I've been like, all right, I see your evil side. You ain't about to, you ain't gonna say nothing bad about me once I leave this room. So, I've always been able to move like that.
Did you ever have like a regular job? Because you got into the game.
Nah,
Early.
nah.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that with some peers of mine, just talking about like, I never knew what it was like to get a real 9 to 5 and really
That's
like,
nice.
you know what I mean? Not. I don't mean to say it like that. It was just like I got started so early. It was just, and sometimes I'm like, man, like I wish I kind of had that experience just a little bit, just so I could like. When the roles come like The Shy, I really understand it on a different level. So I think playing The Shy has really humbled me and grounded me in a way where I could really see like not just see the bottom, but actually experience the bottom.
Right.
So let's just say
something.
something crazy happened and you had to be a civilian for a year
Mm-hmm.
and get a regular job.
Yeah.
Where's Jacob Latimore applying at?
I don't even know, man.
You don't have like
I
no
don't even
hidden talents that you know how to do?
I don't know, the grocery store or something. I can
Yeah, I was gonna say
myself in the
Walmart,
grocery
You
store.
can't
they
cook.
be in there.
Stay out of there.
No, I can organize the shelves. I'm like, hey, where's the
okay,
rice?
stop.
Actually, aisle 9. So if you go down there, you'll make it right. Absolutely, Karen. Thank
Oh,
you.
I would hire him.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
good
yeah.
customer service.
Absolutely. And your change is thank you for shopping.
He's a nice, dependable kid.
Yeah. I mean, I say that now until I'm in the situation like, thank you for shopping here.
Right. Attitude would be
Can't wait to
different.
leave this job.
But
Everybody can smile for 2 weeks.
right.
You've maintained, I think, you've maintained a level of professionalism, and that's what it takes. Like when you look at a lot of people that start early, sometimes they get detours down the road, or different things trip them up. How do you feel like you've been able to stay grounded, stay consistent? Because a lot of times too, if records don't pop, people get washed out, or you forget about them or move
Yeah.
on, and you've been able to keep moving.
I think honestly, I feel like God has put me in a place where like my success has came slowly but surely, right? So you look at a lot of child stars who get like almost too much fame at like
At the jump.
13. Like it's like way too much. They got way too much access, way too much money. It was like I was getting my checks, but it was still like I got a place where I was always being humbled in life. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that really helped me, and always just keeping family around me as well. So I don't feel like I reached too much success at a young age where I lost my mind, and I feel like God is protecting my mind. And I think that's the most important thing in this industry. If you can keep control of your mind, you can really do anything.
Like anytime I see you out about the streets, it just seems like everything is cool. It's in control, chaos. There's always a couple people with you.
I'm on my meditation, my prayers, just working out in the morning. I love to work out in the morning. I feel like that's like one of my favorite things to do, like 5, 6 a.m. workouts, and just like get ahead of my day. And like really, I studied like The Rock and Mark Wahlberg and Kevin Hart and how they just get their minds ready for the day. I think that's super important.
Now, looking real quick at the like the landscape of Hollywood and friendship dynamics, which is really important. Some people have bad friends that they don't know how to cut them off because they grew up with you and they once helped you out to fight.
Yeah.
we haven't seen a new black Brat Pat in Hollywood yet. You know what I'm saying? Like Seth Rogen got people like Jonah Hill, and what was the guy got his arm?
Another
stuck
white
in the
guy.
wall. Yeah,
Another white
guy. I'll edit that later. But who is Jacob Lattimore's like Hollywood friends? Like who is part of the because I think of you, I think of Algie Smith.
That's my boy.
I think of Trevor Jackson.
Yeah, him and Trevor be rocking.
Yeah.
So y'all had a record.
Those are. I mean, you saying it. They're my homies. You know, Algie, Trevor. Another brother of mine. His name is Dexter Darden. He was in Maze Runner with me. He's actually about to film a really dope sequel TV show that's about to drop. I can't say it for him because the press release ain't came out yet. But honestly, you know, my friends are limited. My real friends, I feel like people I can call friends. I really don't like to use that word too loosely. But you know, I got a handful of friends. I feel like, you know, we've actually talked amongst like over this past year, really just starting to create stuff for us, so we could pitch to these, you know, these bigger networks and be like, hey, this is what we want to do, you know, and this is the type of content we want to create. And shout out to my boy Shamik Moore too.
Yo,
you know
he's dope.
That's somebody I grew up with. You know what I mean? We did a lot of, if you go back on YouTube, it's us dancing in the living room.
That's fire.
So for him to be doing Spider-Man and doing the Hulu series and then doing the Get Down, I'm super proud of him. Yeah. And then, you know, with me with the Shy, it's just like you see everybody's leveling up. Algie, I remember Algie was out here, you know, just really grinding. And then I heard he booked New Edition. I said, bro, that's gonna be big for you. I know it, cause like he had the swag, and I'm like, you Ralph? That's lit. Like it's lit. So as soon as it dropped, it was a classic, and that's you know, his career. He on Euphoria now with Zendaya.
Right,
like
that's my show.
He's really leveled up.
He's having so much free sex on that show.
Oh my God.
I was like, bro, off the top. Hello.
Now, Jacob, I want to know, what's your dream role? Like, what's the role that you've always wanted to play?
I think I don't know if it was always like that when I was young. For me, I've always just wanted to dive into different things and never really kind of be stuck in like some box. But I think for me, just getting in shape now too, and like seeing myself, I gotta play a superhero film.
Hey,
you know, I think if it's like the Black Spider-Man, or if it's like, you know, or if it's Static Shock.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
You know, and doing, I think Slight was like the closest thing to something I've done, like maybe superheroic or like out of this, you know, realm or whatever. You know, so I think I definitely want to dive into something like that. But it's gonna come with timing and age, and you know, it's a lot of factors with that type of stuff.
Yeah,
now,
man.
if you was getting on an elevator door's about to close, and you had to explain to somebody in 30 seconds or less why they should see Like a Boss, what would Jacob Latimore tell this person?
Hey, this is for the entrepreneurs, the go-getters, and being a boss, taking over your life. You know what I mean? Not just keeping those thoughts in your mind, but actually putting into action. So go see Like a Boss, man. This is it's funny, but it'll influence you to really like step up to the plate and really
Yo, and the cast
be
is
a boss
heavy.
in your life.
Oh, the elevator door is closed.
Sorry, I gotta go.
Yeah, Billy Porter up in this thing. Tiffany Haddish in that thing. Rose Byrne is up in that thing. Jacob Latimore is up in that thing.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a heavy Hollywood situation,
Yes, sir, yeah.
and we're so happy for you, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Much love, bro.
Keep climbing, man. Midwest to the world, baby.
No doubt.
You know that.
Now, you also spent a lot of time in the ATL, which has one of the longest highways, Highway 20, right? Let's
Yeah.
just say if
Crazy.
Jacob Latimore is riding down the highway in a two-seater,
Yeah.
you, empty seat. You see Salma Hayek, Tiffany Haddish, and Rose Byrne on the
Oh.
side of the road. Only one
Two-seater.
can get in the car.
That ain't true.
Choose wisely.
Who you letting in, Jacob?
They can all get in there.
All of them. Lap up,
They
baby.
can all get in there. We
lap
gonna squeeze
up.
that in.
You gonna get a hell of a ticket.
One on my lap and then two on somebody else's lap.
Wow.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
the style.
You know what I'm saying?
Serayah ain't gonna like that on the lap
Hey,
day.
she ain't gonna like it, but it's, you know, I'm be like, look, this is what happened. You know, it was out there, baby. Like you understand, right?
It's one seat. I
You
couldn't
know,
do
see,
that.
if you was out there, I would have put you in there too.
Much love, baby. One time, y'all, for Jacob
Yeah.
Latimore.
Yeah.
Go see Like a Boss in theaters now.
We are the morning hustle.